Welcome to the RVA Returners Podcast, your weekly source for all things Final Fantasy TCG.
Crush Steven's dream. Start recording right now.
It's recording right now.
Oh, damn it, Steven. Steven, I hope you're listening to this because you just ruined podcast gold, but I still love you anyway. I'm sure Oki does not.
Dude, always ruining crap.
Dude, god damn it. But you know what? He ain't going to ruin this one. It's the next episode of the RVA Returners Podcast. Boys and girls, we are back. And we're back with some special guests today. But first off, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. I'm your host, Chris Adams. With me, as always, is Adam, also known as Nathan Lane. But we're joined by two of our favorite people. Two of the biggest, like, I don't know, man. They're definitely like they're brothers to us. And that's Matthew Okimoto and Greg Cole. Say hello, boys.
Hello, thanks for having me. Super excited.
Oh, hello, honor to be here. Thank you.
Oh no, man! Anytime. We are honored to have you. And man, I just can't get over Stephen. Jesus Christ, killing me. Adam, you should be ashamed of yourself. Did you let him know what he did?
I didn't tell him, but like
he'll find out.
I didn't hear you say it, and I looked over and he was messaging me on Facebook, so I responded.
Oh man, he'll find out the hard way. But I do still want to play Matt with Greg Cole's face on it. It would, I think it'll get me out of this rut I'm in. But we'll get to that. But we're going to start off with what we always start off with. Boys, do we know what that is?
The news.
All right.
I got to say it. That was awesome.
Yes, absolutely. That felt good. I was really hoping one of y'all would say it. That's why I was going for the
that felt so good. Oh, I feel privileged.
Yes, indeed. So a lot to unpack this weekend. We had 3 events, 2 here stateside, and then of course there was a little one overseas called the Winter Cup. Maybe y'all got a chance to take a look at it. But we're going to kind of break down each one. So we had our Soldier Series event yesterday. It was the number 4 in our monthly series. This one was a little bit different, as people could see from our post. We actually did a charity event. We in lieu of any kind of entry fee, we just was like, hey, we're going to donate to Richmond area Toys for Tots. So bring in a new toy, something that we can donate to Toys for Tots, and we don't really care about the value. It could be $2, it could be $200, and everywhere in between. Just bring something. It is the holidays. We're all about giving. And we actually had a really good turnout for that. We had 16 players. Of course, Adam ran the stream. I actually played, and boy, I did not do well, but we'll get to that. So yeah, 16 players. Everybody donated, and a big shout out again to Mr. Irving Diaz. He actually donated. He was supposed to come up. I don't know if he was making a trip this way or he has family up here. I don't remember. We talked a while back, and he was originally going to be in town for this event, but when he found out he couldn't make it, or he might not be able to make it, he actually just sent me some money to put towards the event, like in the form of like pizza and go buy some toys for the kids. So overall, between the 16 of us and Irvin's donation, we got about 40 toys.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess we should probably shout out Matt, right? I mean, Matt it was his idea to do the whole thing, and then we just supported it.
Well, yeah, it's actually really cool because I know you and I had actually talked about that a while back.
Yeah.
And Matt came in and was like, hey, have you thought about doing a charity event? And we were like, actually, yes. And, again, big shout outs to Matt Diorio. He actually took the reins and kind of organized all the, the pickups, and everything for the event. Just really, really stand up human being. And we're really privileged to have a guy like him in our community.
But yeah, it was pretty sweet. I think we ended up with like 40 toys, because if you brought extra toys, we entered you extra times into a raffle, and we raffled off a bunch of Crystal Cup boxes.
Keychains, a bunch of foils.
Yeah.
But the event itself, even though I shouldn't give him a shout out at this point, the event was won by Steven Arboleta. He was actually playing the same list that JFB was playing at the Winter Cup.
Yeah, I think it was pretty close. Was it card for card?
Yes. Yeah, okay. It was. And it was him and Tanis, the professor down from Sova, playing Joseph. He was playing Josephier's Gold Wings list that used the Light Una. That deck was really sweet. Like, it was a really, really good event to watch. And for those who tuned in, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed everything. I know for a fact, me personally, I did not do well at all. I went 1-3, and I got dumpstered all day long. It did not feel good, but at the same time, I didn't care because just watching all the toys pile up and people having fun, and there was a lot of like people in the shop saying, "Oh, what are they doing? What's this? What's that?" So there was a lot of buzz around what we were doing in the shop. So it was really, really cool. But Adam was running the stream as always. Steven will be getting a custom playmat for winning the event, but not a whole lot there. I hear there was a big event, an awesome event happening, cross country. Maybe Greg and Oki could, kind of tell us about what was going on over there at this Metapotion event.
Yeah, we had I think at the end of the season there was 29 players that qualified total, and
nice.
A few people had stuff that came up last minute, so they couldn't come. We ended with like 21 people.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been 22, but I ended up running the event. And Greg actually played, so he could probably give you like a rundown of how his experience.
Oh, how'd you do, Greg?
I think I got 3rd place, right, Matt?
Yep, at the end you got 3rd.
Yeah. It was crazy. It was a crazy event. It was super beautiful though, because everybody just loved each other, and there was so much like love and passion and friendship and.
You said my favorite ship, Greg. Friendship, where I come from, is the only ship that sails.
Oh my god!
There's the episode name. We already found it. Yeah, it's already there. Yeah.
Oh my god.
That was quick for this.
That was so good.
Oh yeah,
that was so good. Holy cow!
Damn right. Well, what were you playing, Greg?
I was playing Silence.
Nice. Is it the same list that you shared with me a while back with the Urianger and the dragons and all that good stuff?
No Urianger, but I did add more summons and more forwards other than Urianger, like Astinian. I love Astinian in that deck, and the new thing.
New Thancred's really good. You might actually have to. I'm gonna need you to actually. We're gonna take a quick tangent. I'm gonna need you to kind of break down because. Adam, I've been in a rut here in Opus 7. I just haven't had it outside of title. I haven't really had a good event. And he keeps saying that I should jump back on the Scions wagon, like just go for the layup, right?
Yes.
But I don't know. Greg, I need you to sell me. I need you to sell me this pin. Tell me why I should jump back on Scion.
You could beat every deck in the meta with it.
Damn.
Well, you just went right for the judges, didn't you?
It's basically like we'll look at like Wind, Water, Earth, Wind, and Scions as like rock, paper, scissors, right?
Sure.
But we'll look at Scions, and based on your draws, Scions can be both rock and paper or something like that.
That's interesting. So Scions can pretty much just. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, and I see how linear it can be. Like you're literally just building back. You build 4 backups, and then you just do whatever the hell you want. I guess that's why it's so good.
Yeah, you can do that. There's so many things you could do with it. It has, several lines of play. It's just like Wind, Water, Earth, Wind. Like I think what makes all those decks so great is that every single card is so cohesive with other cards in the deck. I think that's what makes the deck.
Well, that's fair because then I will put that on. I've got a checklist of decks I'm going to be playing at locals. This week coming up, I'm actually going to be playing that Earth Fire Warrior of Light list. That Rice stands by land being a good card, and you know what? Maybe I'm making a mistake, but I'm gonna go ahead and listen to him.
If you want any better I guess acceptance of the deck, there was 2 in the top 8 of our event. One
was
being,
it really? Okay,
one
because
being
I'm
ran
playing
by
a
Dan.
card.
One being ran by Dan Nguyen as well. I'm gonna just tell you all the top 8 archetypes.
Yeah, please do break it down.
So the winner was Day, who was playing Wind Earth, not Urianger, just like normal Wind Earth with Legends, Idane, and WoL. Second place was David Harada playing Wind Water, basically the typical Wind Water, except he was running Horum and Layla Viking. And then Greg was Scions, and then 4th was Chip Davis playing Mono Ice, which is typical mid-range ice with Sephiroth. 5th was Brian Berkeley playing the Wind Water list. Very close to the one that I ran at Worlds with no Layla Viking. 6th was David Nguyen, who ran Water Ice, which is the standard Water Ice builds with Sephiroth, Endgames, and Nidhogg, and such like that. 7th was Dan Nguyen with the Fire with Wall, Oh wait, there's only one in the top 8. My bad. One in the top 8 was Dan, and then 8th was Miguel, who ran Wind Earth, but it was like Monk's Wind Earth. It was a little interesting.
Oh, nice.
Interesting. Yeah, I've actually been seeing a lot of Porum over Layla Viking recently. We were talking about it yesterday too, where like
yeah, that's actually kind of funny, and we'll unpack that in a second. Our top 8 was super diverse too. Number 8, we'll actually go down our top 8 as well, since you set the precedent there. Number 8 on ours was Lord Byron Balicki. He was on like a standard Earthwind. Number 7 was one of our newer players, Luke Shapiro. He was on Scions. Number 6 was Danny Diaz, and he was on Windwater Gold Wings. Number 5 was Jimmy, who was on Mono Wind Yuri. Number 4 was Top 8 Johnny on Mono Ice. Number 3 was Colin Coughlin. He was playing the Shota Ramza deck. Second place was Tanis on the Gold Wings, the Josephir Gold Wings deck. And obviously Steven won on the Earth Wind Urianger deck.
It's actually not super different. There's a lot of similar stuff there.
Well, no, I mean everybody. Well, I guess there were a couple different things.
I mean between the two top 8s, there's a lot of overlap. That's all I'm saying.
People know what's good, man. People know what's good.
And Wind Earth won both events.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Turns out
it's an okay deck.
Deck just has all the answers. And I know, like you were saying, I kind of prefaced that with, we were talking during the match yesterday that like Layla Viking while it's still really, really good, doesn't feel as good as it used to. And why do you guys think that?
I'll say something, and this is based on a conversation kind of that I had with Oki when I was building the deck that I've been playing. Mm-hmm. The nice thing about Porum is she takes up less card slots in your deck, and she's a burst.
Yeah.
And she lets you kind of filter the top 3 instead of just draw a card. So it's kind of like more in your favor to get something that you need at that moment, I guess. Yeah,
it turns out Ponder's probably better than like Opt, for lack of a better way to put it.
Yeah, and then don't sleep on her actual ability either. Just her being upright out for a turn. I mean, that she can cancel things like Sybil and Cactuar and Miner. Lots of relevant stuff.
Absolutely. So yeah, we'll see how that develops. I agree. I think Porum has always been a fantastic card, and I think I guess with Turbo being gone, it kind of changes, really the use of Layla Viking. Not that they're still great cards and they make Cloud of Darkness that much better, but I agree if unless you're playing that kind of deck, they probably don't have the card slots for them anymore, or you do, it's just not as effective.
I almost feel like if you're going to run like a 2-2 split between Layla Viking or something, you're better off just playing like 3 Porums and another card. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel.
Yeah. I mean, if you have room for like 3-3, then it's great. But if you play like 2-2 or 2-1, I feel like we were talking about this yesterday too. When you play those splits, it's like you always have one and not the other. That's how it feels. I mean,
dude, don't even get me started, man. At locals this last week, I was playing the Shota Ramza deck every game. Every round, I drew all 3 Laylas and never even sniffed a Viking. I was like, this just feels awful.
Oh, I hate that.
Oh, it brings my piss to a boil, I'll tell you what. Oh, man.
Where do you get these?
He's full of them, dude.
They sound original.
They just come to me. So it sounds like you guys had a good time. I know there was I didn't get a chance to watch, but there was a little video y'all shared. Was that like a top 8 like presentation kind of thing?
Yeah, we just wanted to do like try to announce the top 8, and it gets people excited. I know people liked when Vince did it at Nationals for the top cut, so it's like, let's try to do that because we couldn't stream the event. We brought the equipment and had everything like ready to stream, but we couldn't get the password for the computer that we were borrowing. No. So it was like, all right, well, it's fine. So we just basically, the little video was just a snippet of like the announcement of the top 8, and then we did a special thing for 9th place since Vince Angeles from San Diego always bubbles at our events. We gave 9th place 3 Vincent promos.
That's awesome.
Did Vince get 9th? That would have been sweet if he did.
No, Vince couldn't make it. But we really wanted him to make it and get 9th and get 3 Vincent promos just for like the lulz. But
Dude.
Kyle McGinty ended up getting 9th, so he got to be the one to get the 3 Vincent promos.
That's funny. That is funny. Well, it looks like it was a good time, man. Really awesome top 8 list, and I'm glad I've got some more validation on land being a good card. So, the last event we're going to talk about, it was kind of the big one this weekend. It was the Winter Cup over in Wales, I believe is where it was.
Cardiff, right?
Was it in Cardiff or Wales?
I think they're the same. Hold on, I gotta look it up.
Is it the same place? I saw people throwing around the word Cardiff. I'm not familiar with that area because
Cardiff is the capital of Wales.
Okay, all right, okay, all right.
Like I only know Cardiff because the parent company that I work for is out of Cardiff, and that's the only reason I know that name.
We're just gonna go with that. I was more right. I was more specific. Let's just go with that.
Touche.
Is Cardiff like an LGS or something?
I think it's a town or a city.
Yeah,
I think Cardiff is like a city.
All the Europeans are gonna make fun of us right now. It's okay.
Oh, yeah. They're gonna be like, is California an LGS?
No word of a lie, yeah.
Oh man, they're gonna rip us to shreds for that one, but that's okay. But I've never been over there. Oki, I think, is the only one amongst us, unless he's got the passport with all the stamps in it.
Yeah, I went to. I don't think I went to Wales though. I was just in London.
Oh, okay.
I don't know on the map, but I think they had to take a flight there. I think.
Oh, okay. Like one of those couple-hour flights, maybe. I didn't realize we were doing welcome to the RVA returner geography lesson.
Yeah, I think. Well, at least from my understanding, getting around in Europe, you can either take a train or a flight, and it's usually only a couple hours, 1 or 2.
Oh man, I want to take a train so bad. That's why I'd want to live over there, just so I could take the train everywhere.
We
feel classy and well traveled.
We have buses here. They suck, but they're here.
No, not unless Okay, we're gonna get off on one more tangent. Then we're gonna talk about the Winter Cup. Have you ever taken the Chinatown bus?
You mean up to New York?
Yeah, or to Philly or to wherever, because you can get from Richmond.
Yeah, it's cheap, but it's
New
terrible.
Well, you can get there in 2 hours because they go 400 miles an hour, and they cut through the woods and they drop people off at a gas station, and then they pick up people. And these aren't passengers. These are people running from an oppressive government. That kind of thing.
Oh gosh.
And then you're in New York in 2 hours. I don't know how it happens. It's an adventure. The Chinatown bus is an adventure. But okay, so Winter Cup. So there were about 200 people at this event?
I think it was 186 or something like that. Close to 200, yeah.
Man, that's a lot of bodies, especially this is right off the haunches of Worlds too. So the hunger is still there for a lot of people to play. So of what you guys saw, what did y'all think of, the decks? And, because for the most part, what I watched on day one, everything I saw was pretty different for the first few rounds. And I'm going to go back and finish watching everything. I woke up just in time for top 4 today. What did you guys think?
I just saw the last bit of the event, but I think Toby was on Mono Water, right? He was the undefeated day 1.
Yeah,
he was 8-0 on day 1. Yeah, that's real legit.
And
this is top 16.
In typical fashion, I think he did. Yes.
Yeah, I think he lost to Rob in the top 16.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's fair because Rob eventually went on to win the whole thing. Yeah, Robert Phillips was not, because I got the top 16 right here. Toby was the first seed. Was that Luis Burnett was second seed? I'm not even gonna try. Metin. Panic was number 3. Patrick Carr was 4. Tush was 5. Jackie Hayden was 6. Anthony Atchin, I guess he was the winner of last year's Winter Cup.
He was, yeah.
Was 7. Christian Schwepke was number 8. Jonathan Ho was number 9. Nicholas McLeod was 10. Oliver Simmons was 11. Sasha Corbo was 12. JFB was 13. Gramo. I'm awful with this, and I apologize if they're listening and I butcher their name. Pentola was 14, Jonathan Ellis was 15, and Robert Phillips was 16.
Yep. So he lost right in top 16 then, because
notable names that I see on the bubble here: Steve Dolman was 18, and Jamie Faulkner was 19.
Yeah, I mean it was a tough turn. I think it was 8 rounds of Swiss, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like the tiebreakers were super close.
Speaking of that, we had a tiebreaker yesterday that legit came down to 1 point of damage to get into top 8, and that was the only time I've ever seen that.
Yeah, it was nuts. That shows you, man. Tiebreakers mean a lot, and they can be super, super narrow. But it was a good event from what I saw. A lot of diverse decks. But there also, while I say there was a lot of diverse decks, there was a lot of wind, a lot of wind earth, a lot of wind water. Man, okay. I'm going to preface all that by this. Why is Yuri so good? Why is that card so good?
I mean,
somebody tell me. Somebody tell me why that card is so good.
He has a lot of text on this card. Typically, that's a good thing, you know. Usually, you see a card with that much text.
The Alua method, right?
I mean, he does a lot of things for a lot of elements that shouldn't be able to do those things, I guess. I'm kind of glad that he's good, though. Like, it's been a long time due, I think, for, like, Light to have a good card, to be honest.
I agree. I think their best Light card up to this point was probably Zidane.
Yeah, and it's not like Cam's gone anywhere, and you're still seeing him. So,
absolutely.
I think it's good to have that kind of balance. But, yeah, Wind is in a really, really good place right now. Probably the best element in the game.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that. Greg, what do you guys think about that sentiment?
I think Wind is like Greg will hate me because he doesn't run Wind, but I think Wind is probably the best element. If you're not running it, then you better be able to beat it somehow. I don't know. It's really good.
Are you saying mono Wind?
Just Wind in general. Yeah.
Like it has a lot of tools, right? Like it can ramp backups fast. It has a lot of removal. It has a lot of combat tricks. All the forwards that Wind plays are pretty good, like evenly statted for the cost. Like what back? Like the only thing that I think Wind might have struggles with, like if you're mono Wind, right, and you get the 5 backups so fast, and then you draw more backups. Like that's probably the worst that could happen.
Because that's actually what happened in the finals there against Robert. Anton, like you could watch his hand, like in key turns, he would just brick 2 backups every time.
To be fair, he was, I think one of the other previous games, he was drawing like Chaos Walkers at the right time and Moogle at the right time. And
yeah, his top decks are pretty good, I think, for the most part. But yeah, I mean, sometimes you can brick on double backup.
But I think Alex said it pretty good when he was commentating, is like the way that Anthony was paying for his cards and like not maximizing his CP on each turn, it kind of punished him. Definitely in game 2 it punished him for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's where the skill comes down in Wind, right? Like, because I mean, a lot of your guys are essentially free, but knowing how to sequence that to get the maximum value out of your CP, I think that's where the skill comes in, and knowing how to sequence those turns for sure.
Yeah, I think there was a turn where like how people were questioning like Archer, Rob archered an active Archer on Anthony's side.
Yep.
And people were like, well, why don't you just hit the dull Archer, right? So he can't use it in response. But I think Rob knew he was going to Archer the unit eventually. I think he wanted to get the card out of Anthony's hand because Rob knew a turn later he could board wipe.
Yep, and then that card was a Zidane, if I remember right.
Yeah, so he wanted his opponent to make the decision: are you keeping the card, or are you letting me get a free Archer that I'm going to get anyways? So that in the following turn I can set up a board wipe and you have less chance of recovering. I think that's why he did it. Don't quote me, but that's was my logic.
Interesting. No, it makes sense when you look at it. You know, when you look at the sequence of events there, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, he played really well against JFB too. Even though in game 2 he was 6 for 6 on EX bursts, like
dude,
that
man,
every time.
Pay for that kind of action, man.
That's like Steph Curry from like the 3-point line, dude. That's like Gary. Like I don't know, maybe he's just that good. I don't know. But it was pretty brutal.
I need to give some advice to JFB though. Like if you need to win games, you need to deal more damage, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, if John Madden taught me anything, I think you're absolutely right. That's how you win games.
Just gotta do more damage than your opponent.
Yeah, I mean, it's as simple as that, right? But no, overall, I thought it was a really good weekend for events. Again, congratulations to Robert for winning the Winter Cup. Now, while we're on the subject of this thing, and we kind of were, rambling about it at the top, the prizing for this thing is busted. Holy shit. Can we get this?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Good Lord.
I think, yeah, I'm looking at it right now. So Rob walked away with 2 full sets of foils from Opus 7. 1 Opus 7 display. I guess that's like...
I guess it's a box. It's probably a box.
Is it a box?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a box.
Yeah, it is. He got a 2018 Nationals Lightning playmat.
The Lightning playmat.
That's the one on the horse, right? The Odin?
Yeah.
He got Chocobo Crystal Hunt and the expansion. He got a Play Arts Terra. He got the 15 OST. And then he got an Emerald Carbuncle plushie.
And that really sick trophy right next to it.
Yep. And then, I mean, not only that.
And not to mention, just for showing up, he got the Noctis playmat and the Laswell promo.
Yep. And then, yeah, not only that, like, even the tiered down pricing was good, too. Like,
so does he get all of that stuff in addition to the top pricing?
So if you look at it, a lot of all the stuff that I just named are in the other pricing if you tier all the way down.
But does he get the, he does get the playing cards as well? Because those things are sick.
I don't know if he got those. Then it looks like third and fourth place got a different soundtrack. They got the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack.
Mm-hmm. That's not bad.
But I don't know if he got all the way tiered down. Yeah. Both OSTs are good. But yeah.
So like the pricing for this thing is insane. Because okay, so let's do a quick comparison. I realize this is a complete apple. This is not even apples to orange. This is an apple to onion comparison. So last year, top 16 Boston Crystal Cup. We got our stuff for entering. We got the tote bag, the 4-packs. I believe it was
Vincent box.
The Vincent box, and we got a promo, right?
Yeah, it would have been. It was Vincent at the time. Yeah, it was Vincent.
Was it Vincent?
You're
right, it was Vincent.
Yeah, 5 CP Vincent.
And that was really it. I mean, if we made top 16, we got to get up with the playmat that we had.
Yeah, so well, if you look at it that way, like top 16 here got playing cards, but I guess they already got their playmat for signing up. So
and promo and Laswell promo
and the Laswell promo, which is a pretty exclusive promo, at least right now.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, man. I guess when you start rattling stuff off, maybe the Vincent box is comparable to the playmat, but I think the playmat is just better.
Yeah,
because it's more eye catching. Like my Vincent box is still sitting in the plastic wrap from I haven't even, and I'm gonna keep it. That's like a memento from my first Crystal Cup or whatever. But that doesn't mean like. But if I have this Noctis playmat, right, I could be somewhere. Or at a card shop or somewhere, and I whip this out, it's going to catch somebody's eye, right? And they're going to recognize Noctis and be like, "Oh man, what is this?" Like it's just that the power of visibility. Am I right?
Yeah. And
I think more people want that.
Yeah, I mean, like I think the pricing overall is getting better, but it definitely.
100%.
I mean,
we'll dive into that a little bit more when we get to the meat. Oh, one last thing we want to talk about is the we talked about the pricing for the main event. Did we look at the pricing for the side events?
Have you seen that trophy?
Yeah.
That trophy, you could stop a mugging with that thing. It is a brick in a purse. Look at that. Like,
is it the one that looks like a crystal, like a?
Yeah. It's like almost like a half a crystal looking trophy. It looks pretty sweet.
And the base says the middleman, right?
Yep.
How sick is that? How sick! I would kill for a I don't. They could say a big piece of shit on that trophy, and I would still put that on my shelf and be super happy about it.
It's a Buster Sword.
Dude, it's insane. It is insane.
Yeah,
and let's see.
I was gonna say, even on top of that, they got some pretty other sick pricing too. So,
yeah. All right, so tell me a little bit. I missed the part where Tim was talking about what this middleman event, what this format is. I know this was the new format they were talking about.
I don't remember exactly, but I'll see if I can try to like explain it without making a mistake. It was basically 2v2s, right? Like you brought a deck of cards. I think it was 30 or 25.
It's 25.
Yeah, so 20. So you brought a half a deck, and then you were randomly paired with someone who also brought a half a deck, and then you combine those to make an entire deck. And you had to have copies of the cards that they voted on, which I believe were X-Death, Snow. I feel like there was one more, right?
Yeah, I don't remember the last one.
I know two of them were X-Death and Snow, and they had to be in you had to have a copy of them in your 25. So that means between the two, I think you were going to at least have 2 copies of each of those, I believe.
Interesting.
And then, you played as like a 2-man team with your 50-card deck.
So it became like Two-Headed Giant at that point?
Well, you put those 25 cards together with the other person's 25 cards, and then you had a 50-card deck. You played,
and then one person piloted?
Yeah, but it sounded like you kind of had like over-the-shoulder kind of thing going on. Like you were both at the table.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Because I think
actually really cool.
Grand Finals was Alex and somebody, correct? Because I'm not familiar with all the players. But it was Alex and somebody versus Jamie and somebody, and I don't remember the other 2 players. So.
Yeah, and didn't Alex's team lose?
I caught part of it because I thought it was the finals when I first tuned in, and I was like, "Is this finals have 3-color Moogles in it? What is happening?" Yeah. And then I realized it was that format. But I don't remember who won, to be honest.
Yeah, but even so, it looked like it was. I didn't know all that. That sounds pretty neat, and maybe something we could looking to trying at least once. You know me, man. I'm all about other formats. But look at these prizes. So like, you know, like obviously they had like a threshold price or like stretch prize, but the Dragoon play mat and the Furion sleeves. But I mean, you got prized out almost like you won the whole damn Winter Cup if you won this thing.
Yeah, kind of. I guess except you have to. Do you split it 2 ways, or do each person get one? Because that's pretty.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, I would hope each person gets one, just for like sake of fairness.
Yeah, I would imagine. I would imagine each person would get.
Yeah, because I feel like splitting this up would be hard. I feel like.
Yeah, we're gonna cut the plushie right down the middle. We're gonna cut the playmat right down the middle.
Yeah, it would make sense that each individual got the same.
Yeah.
Yep, and then obviously they you know, if you go down to the other events, you know, they sleeves and you know, the other things like the Highlander events and all that stuff looks in tune with what we would get in our side events as well, promos, plushies, things like that. So side event pricing still really strong. So if you didn't do well in the main event, or you know, or if you were there like, you know, like Alex, who I don't even think was even playing, you know, got to hang out and do side events, so you still got to jam all weekend, which was really cool. Yeah, sounds like it was just a real solid good time across the board. And you know, it's good to see again, like I said, the competitive season, you know, globally start to really ramp up. And you know, we're gonna spend the majority of the cast talking about what our competitive season is going to look like. But I want to take a quick detour before we do that. We mentioned last week that the Brave Exvius Fan Fest was going on, and was it in Los Angeles? It was Los Angeles, right?
Yes. No, actually, Long Beach. Sorry.
Long Beach. Okay, it was in Long Beach. And Oki and Greg, you guys were there, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So, you know, the idea of these fan fests are new to me. I know there's one for 14, and our buddy Kyle goes to that. What are these things like? Just kind of tell me the atmosphere. You know, obviously, you know, Brave Exvius being a mobile game that I play when I'm on the crapper. Which, Greg, I hear you have finally gotten to experience that. It changed your life, didn't it?
Yes. I always play Brave Exvius on the toilet.
It'll change your life. But, so what was it? So what was this event like? I can't keep a straight face.
I guess I could start. So I played an event. I actually don't play Brave Exvius, so I guess I can give you my perspective from someone who doesn't actually get to play the game.
But have you tried it on the toilet?
I've downloaded it and tried it, not on the toilet, but I've tried it and it just didn't catch my attention. Maybe
That's
on the
fair.
toilet.
Do me a favor. Next time you try it, do it while you're on the toilet.
Maybe give me a better experience.
Yes.
But it was a 2-day event.
Mm-hmm.
The convention that they rented out was huge. It was like there was like a obstacle course bounce house. There was a VR thing where you could like go with a bunch of friends and like, I guess in Brave Exvius you have like a party of like 5 or 6 players or people or units or whatever, and they fight something. So you would have like a bunch of friends be those units in the VR, and you'd fight something. It was kind of cool.
Oh, that is cool.
They had like a charging station with chairs and everything in the middle of the entire event, so you could watch everything while charging your phones and playing the game. They had like an art corner with a bunch of cool art that hopefully we get in the card game. They wouldn't let us take pictures. There's literally like signs saying no pictures. I'm sure people probably could have sneaked pictures, but I tried and they said put your phone away. I was like, okay, I'm not trying to get kicked out of here, so all right. And then they had the main stage where they had like the ending ceremonies and like the panels and where Katy Perry showed up and all that stuff. And then on the right of that was the FFTCG area, which was probably sat. I don't know, Greg might know the actual number, but I think it was like 50 or 60 people. Maybe, I don't know. It wasn't a lot, but it was like enough.
Yeah, that's actually not bad, and I'm glad that's kind of where you ended on that. What was it like? You know, obviously, you know, we're here for the card game, and that's the avenue that we enjoy. How was it? How did the card game integrate in with this fan fest? Was there a lot of foot traffic for people coming by? Like, oh, hey, I didn't know there was there a lot of, oh, I didn't know they had a card game kind of thing? Was there a lot of that?
I didn't hear it too often, but there was a lot of people in line. There was a lot of foot traffic. I think there was over 400 plus people who actually went into the card game area from that event. I think the event was like 2,000 people or something.
Wow.
And like well, not at once, but like overall the entire weekend there was 2,000.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, like, man, 2,000 people in line for the card game. That's huge.
No, there was the Brave Exvius event had like 2,000 signups over the entire weekend, and I think of those 2,000, they got to like 400 to 500 people who actually went to the FFTCG booth and did stuff.
That's so cool.
So what they did is they had like a little quest card that you could go to every station and like try to find Muggles with little items in their hands, or like compete in like one of the things at the booths. Mm-hmm. And FFTCG was one of those. So like, if you were one of those that likes to complete quests at conventions or whatever, mm-hmm. you would kind of like be forced to go to the FFTCG area at least once to like check it out, mm-hmm. which is kind of cool. I think the demos basically got filled up in the first couple hours each day, and they had to like you'd have like a time slot to go do your demos.
Oh wow.
So the first day on Saturday, you got a little card that lets you play in one of the event. Like it reserves your slot for one of the event. Mm-hmm. And if there was room in the other events, you could play, but if it was full, you couldn't play. That's how like packed things were. Like so many people wanting to play the game.
Yeah, that's actually really awesome. And was it what am I trying to say? Was it a lot of fresh faces, or did you see a lot of like the local guys coming in just sharking it up?
Actually, so like obviously you're gonna have your handful of local players that are coming just for the card game and
sure,
like, trying to get prizing. There was a handful of that, but honestly, there was so many new players, mm-hmm. and I usually would go into a room in FFTCG and I'm gonna know like 70% of them. I've seen them before. I've talked to them, but like mm-hmm. I maybe knew like 30% of the people in that area, which was like kind of like a shock to me. I was like, dang, like I really don't know a lot of these people, but it's really cool that a lot of these new people are trying it out. And of course, though, like in the events, that the people who actually played the game obviously did better than the new players, but it was cool to see the new players actually didn't do as bad as you would think they would. Like some of them got like top 8 or top 4 of events, and it's their first time like playing the game, so it was pretty cool to see that. The prizing was cool. I think the first place of the constructed event got like a Bahamut figurine ring arts thing, and it was a free event, so like you just brought a constructed deck. If you got first place, you got that. All the events were single elimination due to the time.
Sure.
And I think they were all best of one as well, if I'm not mistaken.
So it was like a good
way to turn and burn them, you know?
It was like a big bracket then, basically, instead of Swiss? Was that kind of how it was?
Yeah, so like it was 32. Well, they capped it at 32 players for each event. So the constructed was 32 players. Basically the first 32 people to sign up got in the constructed event, and then the next one was like simplified sealed. So the first 32 people sign up got that. If there was any spots left over, people could walk into the event. Like if you played the constructed, you couldn't play the simplified sealed unless there was extra spots open.
Oh, cool. Greg, how about you, man? What did you think of the event?
I actually was super excited to do this podcast with you guys because I've just been brainstorming on how I'm going to be able to explain the whole thing, because I know that was one of the main points we discussed that you guys wanted to talk about. So like throughout the week, I was like taking notes and coming up with like, what do people need to hear about this event? Mm-hmm. So Matt covered a lot of the just like a lot of the important community stuff that people do want to hear. I guess I'm trying to think of like maybe anything that I could think of that's extra. I mean, long story short, they threw 2,500 people at the Final Fantasy TCG booth. Mm-hmm. And if you think about it, like the market for FFBE, all those people that went, they're all hardcore players. Like those are all people that are charging their credit card to the app store, like buying stuff, like and upgrading their characters and maximizing their energy and playing every single day and getting all 5 of their units to like max. And so like you even knew like while they're doing interviews, they're always doing interviews and panels the whole weekend. Like every single minute, every hour, they were all playing Brave Exvius while like sitting down in chairs at the panel. So you can tell like these people are hardcore. So like you're getting hardcore gamers that are Final Fantasy fans, and you're throwing them all at the FFTCG booth. Now, from what I understand, every single day they reached anywhere from 200 to 400 people of people that wanted to learn the game or play the game through one of the events. And then I believe Matt asked how many tables we had. I think we had like 7 tables, and there are like 16 seats per table or something like that. So at least 70 chairs or more. And then they were teaching people 32 players at a time. So they had four demo people all going at the same time. Someone at front desk. RB was managing the entire TCG section, and then Henry Doe was running all of the tournaments in the back tables. So all of the lists for people to be able to test the game and demo the game, all of them were full. All the RSVPs were full. You had like 100 to 200 people line up at the TCG booth to be able to try the game every single morning as soon as they opened up the doors. So I always knew, like, this is my first like serious card game, but I always knew that Square Enix had the infrastructure to be able to do things like this and to be able to just, use their influence and just like slam it down and be like, boom. And this is a perfect example of this. They're doing the FFTCG Fan Fest in February, and then I believe, I'm not sure, but they're doing the FFTCG one, and then I'm pretty sure they're doing more Brave Exvius stuff next year. So it's just looking extremely good for the game. I'm really excited, and I was blown away. The locals were outnumbered by the Brave Exvius players for sure.
Dude, that's awesome. So it's really good to see that when they start taking this particular avenue that they have and start integrating it into their more established properties, that the desire is there for people to want to pick it up and play it. And I think, maybe now they're striking while the iron's hot, because it seems like since they've been doing the cross promotional stuff, more people are in tune with it. I know cards are becoming a little, this is just for me looking for specific things, but I feel like cards are becoming a little bit harder to find. I feel like there's more foot traffic, at least on some of the Facebook groups, from people names I haven't seen before. I don't know. We've had a couple new players show up at our locals, and our numbers are a little bit smaller right now because a lot of our guys are in school. So I'm sure summertime that number could double. Have you guys had any kind of impact? Have you guys seen anything from that event? Has anything kind of reciprocated to your locals that you've had since then? I guess that's where I was going with all of that.
I can speak for my local, for like a destination. I can't make it out to TGC as often as I'd like, but Greg probably has more on that. Mm-hmm. We've had like one or two new players from the event. I know there was a few people at the event who were all asking, what are the local stores, where are they at?
Well, that's cool.
I'm sure there's scenes growing from that event, but it's at stores that we haven't been to yet, and there's probably like hidden play groups at all those stores that we have to just find eventually, because a lot of players that were at the event were like, oh yeah, I live in LA, or oh well, I live in whatever, Marina Del Rey, or like they all live in areas that we normally don't go to, because when we first started a scene in SoCal, there wasn't any stores that supported the game in those areas. But hearing the chatter at the event, there's people who are saying they live in those areas and they're going to check out the stores in those areas. There's probably play groups starting up out there.
See, that's really cool. And speaking of fan event, I think this might be the perfect segue. Unless Greg, you have anything else you want to add to the Brave Exvius event? Because it sounds like you guys had a really awesome time, and it sounds like the TCG got a lot of exposure at this event.
Yeah, it was above and beyond. They pulled out all the stops. RB was prepared. Square Enix was prepared. They probably had like maybe close to 50 to 100 employees and contractors that were working the event. Square is such a giving company. You look at how much they spent on the event, where they rented it, where it was at, how elegant it was, how beautiful it was. You see all the pictures. You go to Matt's Metapotion page, you could see all like the live footage of everything going on, how it's all decorated, how everything's all custom, and they're just like, they're just a people company. They invest in people, and I love that about them, and I love what they're doing with the game and how they're mixing their markets amongst their crowd. Like that's how powerful their company is, that they can have one game and another game, and they can put them together, and we get outcomes like the Los Angeles or the Long Beach event. Something I did want to talk about was how amazing it was for me to get a hotel room. I went with my sweetheart, and then I went with Arvin Bernardo, Sharina DeCano, Brian Berkeley, Ricardo Loscano, Kyle McNasty, We also Greg, the other Greg Martinez in California, and so we had. So something I do want to tell all the listeners is that you definitely want to travel, and then if you can travel with your friends, and if you can go like really big, I highly recommend getting connecting rooms at a hotel room because it is just so awesome. I think we had that in Boston too. We had connecting rooms. It is so awesome to just be able to like walk in between your friends' rooms and just like chill and just chat and relax. And then our hotel room was awesome. We had it was like a waterfront because it was in Long Beach, so there was a waterfront right outside of our window. And then we had all you can eat breakfast in the morning. We stayed at the Hyatt Regency, is a really good hotel, and then we stayed there. The rate was very affordable, and it was like all you can eat, like grilled salmon, stuff like that. And and don't forget, rule number one: don't forget your swimming trunks for the jacuzzi. If you're gonna go travel, always make sure you bring your swimming trunks for the jacuzzi.
Fair enough. I will make sure next time I'm out in your neck of the woods. Maybe not in Boston this year when we go. I'll probably pass on swim trunks there, but
you never know, dude. Indoor.
It could be indoor jacuzzi. That's true.
That is true. That is very, very true. Well, it sounds like you had an awesome time, man. That's really glad to hear. That makes me nothing but more excited and happy to see these fan fests and the integration there. And that's also a perfect segue because I know we've gotten, when I say more details, we have a date for the TCG Fan Fest, and it's kind of bittersweet. I don't like being negative. I don't like leading with any kind of negativity because I love this card game. I love this community. Man, why so soon? It's like what, February 9th, I think is when these things happen.
February 9th, yeah. It's in LA. Yeah, I mean, sadly, I don't think I'm going to be able to attend either. I'm going to try, but like because I've already committed to the reunion stuff and I've already taken time off from work there and I've already got my plane ticket, it's going to be really hard for me to also attend this, which is like less than a month from the reunion event. So
I mean, because I really want to go. I want to go more than anything.
I do too. Yeah, I really want to go. I mean, it's literally just I mean, unless they're adding like an actual event to it, but as of right now, it's like just a place to go, chill with everyone that also plays the game, and then I mean, you know, play the game and then talk to the people that make the game. Like,
if it's anything like the Brave Exvius Fan Fest, like I would imagine, like it'll probably be. I think they said it was going to be a one-day thing, right?
I think so. It doesn't say 9th through 10th. It just says 9th. Yeah.
It just says 9th, right? So if I were to like imagine what it would be, they'd be like, RB already posted questions about like a panel they want to have, right? So there'll probably be a panel. There'll probably be a Wolves Den. There'll probably be a constructed event of some sort, or maybe they can take like ideas from the Winter Cup of like that cool 2-player event. Like that might be a pretty cool thing to have. Like I wouldn't imagine the Fan Fest to have a competitive event. I would imagine it to have a bunch of fun events where winning is just a bonus. Does that make sense? Like I wouldn't, like my mindset if I was traveling to it, I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna be the best, and I'm gonna win whatever events at the Fan Fest. I would go and be like, I'm gonna go hang out with the entire community. There's gonna be a ton of really awesome events, probably a lot of really cool prizing, probably also a lot of like exclusives because it's a Fan Fest.
Right, and I'm glad you said it like that because the reason I want to go, it's you know the words fan and fest. Just calling it that alone means I'm not looking to go there to win an event. Like, and I feel like as a content creator for this game that like there's a good chance that when you go there, there's people that we've never met before that listen to our podcast, would love to shoot the shit with us. And this is for everybody. Like, yeah, you guys too. There's probably people that that know the name Greg Cole, they know the name Matt Okimoto, and they'd love to get the chance to like talk to you, chill with you, maybe jam some cards with you, and they haven't had that chance yet. And maybe this is their way to kind of get introduced to this particular scene. And that's why I really, really, really want to go. I want to see what the nuts and bolts and what makes other communities tick and what people what excites other people about this game. It's just going to be a tough commitment for it to be with it being that soon because I'm kind of in the same boat with Adam. Like I've committed to the reunion. I'm really gonna maybe just hustle and get a really fat bonus in January so I can just take the red eye out and take the red eye back or something. You know what I mean? But
if you can afford a flight, you're probably you probably don't need to worry about a hotel. I'll put it that way.
Well, that's fair. That's what I like to hear. So I will definitely be taking you up on that. So, but like I really want to go, and I think this fan fest is a great idea. And I urge anybody that wants to go, and especially if you're not going to the reunion, it's a no-brainer. It is a no-brainer. But I agree with you, and this is something we'll touch on more when we get into the competitive season stuff. You know, your time off is valuable, especially if you have, you know, we all have lives. We have wives, husbands, kids, pets, whatever, family obligations.
Pets.
Shout out to Maverick and Diggle.
Yeah.
Shout outs to the Tank Man for being here.
I want to shout out John Ciorde from Florida and Maxwell Williams from Florida. They flew in for the Brave Exvius Festival.
Nice.
And yeah, and I guess they said that they had like an amazing time, and like our Korean barbecue dinner was like epic. It was like insane. Like we've never, gotten more value from a Korean barbecue restaurant before. I think I saw one of the waiters. They were kind of upset. They're like, "Oh my God, they're still going!" Like I can't believe it. I can't believe they're eating this much food. Like they're breaking the rules here. Like So yeah, we definitely did an extremely great job at the Korean barbecue restaurant. But yeah, they came down. Thank you so much for coming, guys. I want to go back, and I really, really can't wait for the Fan Fest that's going to be in Los Angeles. I think it's going to be insane, and I'm really excited for that. And I know I'm going to be able to share that with a lot more people, because I know as soon as more announcements start rolling out, I'm sure that it's going to be extremely exciting to hear about.
Yeah, so it definitely sounds like, Adam, we're going to have to put our heads together and figure out what we're going to do. I don't want to miss this thing. Like, I would be 100% happy to just show up and not bring a single trading card with me and just hang out.
Exactly.
Yeah, I won't say like 100%, but maybe if we do it, it'll be like up and back kind of thing. And up and back is a long way because we're going all the way coast to coast. But I wouldn't be opposed to it. I do want to go.
Could you guys leave like Friday night and then leave Sunday?
I mean, we probably could. We probably wouldn't sleep much, but I guess we could sleep on the flight.
There you go. Yeah. So we'll go there and figure something out, because I really, really, really want to go, like more than anything, because I think.
Look, Chris, just like Oki said, you have a place with us. So if you're either gonna stay with Matt or you're gonna stay with me, like both you and Adam, you're like, don't even worry about it. Just come, because we love you guys. So we just want you there. You need to be there. You need to live that life. You need to feel it.
This breaking news. I have been threatened with a good time.
You need to go to the Fan Fest for Brave Exvius. I didn't even play the game, and I had a lot of fun. And I sat in the FFTCG area the entire time for 2 days, and I had a lot of fun. Like, imagine going to a fest where it's about everything you like. It just seems insane.
Awesome.
Like, I had fun, and at the Brave Exvius, I had fun, and I was at one booth the entire time. Imagine like probably 4 booths of everything you like. It's just gonna be in a panel that you actually understand what's going on. Because I had no idea what was going on for the Brave Exvius panel. Like, I don't know.
Well, I think that solidifies it. Then we're just gonna have to work out scheduling and things like that. But look at that. We've just been sold live on the podcast.
Oh, it's easy. We could sell anything in California. You haven't had like a Korean barbecue experience until you've come to California?
Yes.
And have had to try to fit 50 people in a Korean barbecue.
Preach it, brother. Preach it.
Like at Nationals was insane. Oh my God.
But I guess the only downside this time with you, Greg, there was no Rice wasn't there to sing happy birthday to.
Yeah, that was insane. That was an insane birthday celebration for Rice after Nationals at Gen in Torrance. Like, wow, I've never seen, like, it was insane. There's so many people in the room.
Happy birthday, Matthew Rice.
Yeah, speaking of which, happy birthday, Matt Rice. Shout outs to the birthday boy. All right, so now that we've talked about that, we've kind of segued. That was one of the announcements. We've gotten more details about the what the competitive season's going to look like for North America this year, and it's kind of broken down. Okay, I'll let you or Adam or Greg, one of you guys, kind of break down the structure, because I know petite cups carry quotation marks. They carry more weight. Quote quote quote. My fingers are hurting. Then we have, crystal cups. We have your LQs, and there's supposed to be more of those than ever. And the road to Worlds can be a little bit different this time. Go ahead and kind of break this down for everybody.
Yeah. So basically, we're getting 6 Crystal Cups, which is technically down from 8, right? I think. Yeah. So, however, if you win a Crystal Cup, you go straight to Worlds, which I think everybody kind of wanted that, and I'm glad that they listened to that, and I think it makes a ton of sense. Way more sense than I think 3 buys.
I agree with that.
Then on top of that, top 4 still qualifies for Nats. Similar thing there. I would assume, I don't know for sure, but I would assume if you qualify for Worlds, you could still play at Nats. It just passes down.
Yeah, that would make sense too.
Yeah, then like you said, there's going to be over 100 LQs, which I want to say we had somewhere in the neighborhood of like 50 to 60 last year. It might have been 70, somewhere in that range, but that's at least 30 more. And then they're also doing these Crystal Cups in card shops, not like cons, which is another thing that a pain point that a lot of people had because it made flights more expensive, it made hotels more expensive and harder to get. And so now it's going to be like cheaper travel for the players, and they're going like just to play the game, like nothing else. Yep. We don't have dates for those. We don't know where they are yet, but we just know that there's going to be 6, and I would assume they're going to probably spread them out as much as best as they can. Then the Petite Cups kind of matter a little more, so I don't think we know exactly like how many there are yet, but if you get top 4 at any Petite Cup, you qualify for what's going to be called the Circuit Finals. And then at Collector's Cash, March 10th, which I think is a Sunday, that's going to be the Petite Cup Finals, where the top X, whatever, are going to play, and whoever wins that's going to get a Nats qualifier. And the day before, that's almost going to be like an LCQ Petite Cup, I guess, if you want to think of it that way, where you could play at Collector's Cash, and if you make top 4 there, you can kind of continue to Sunday and play in like a fresh tournament. We get 12 seats at Worlds this year, which is up from 10. No, up from 8, I mean. Up from 8. I don't know why I said 10. Up from 8. 6
That's so awesome.
Yeah, 6 are going to come from Crystal Cups. Top 4 of NA Nats is going to go. So that's 10. And then 2 are mystery spots.
Which, tinfoil hats on, it would not surprise me that if they really want that point thing from the Petite Cups to be a thing, maybe one of them will be that. Or they'll have something. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like the mystery spots, it's one of 2 things. One, it's like we have 12 spots and we just don't know how to get the last 2 yet, or we're slow rolling something that'll either piss a lot of people off or make a lot of people happy. Like I'm kind of a mixed bag on the hidden last 2 spots, but we'll dive more into that.
If I had to make a guess, if I'm in a dream world, personally, what I think would be cool is if they do like a leaderboard for when the Crystal Cups start, and just do the first place of the leaderboard qualify for Worlds of just the Crystal Cups, and you can only earn points for those at Crystal Cups, and then have the other one be at, I think because they're going to do a Gen Con, right? Even though they said that they're not going to have Crystal Cups at conventions, Gen Con was like the exception. And I know Gen Con usually has 2 events like they did last year, so maybe one would be the Crystal Cup and the other could be a different format of some sort to qualify for Worlds. I think that would probably be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I'm thinking one of those is basically a Crystal Cup, they're just not calling it that, and it's going to be whatever the second event is at Gen Con. That'd be my guess. Then in the other slot,
it would not surprise me if it was a title event.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. I'll be ready for it if it is.
Yep, same.
So, but yeah, the other spot, I'm not 100% sure, but I hope it's the point system. I think that would be sweet to just give kind of the grinder a way to like earn a spot there.
Because even if it's a grind, right? Like you still have to be good enough to maintain first place, even if it's a grind. Because everyone's gonna attend, like the quote unquote more serious players. Everyone I've talked to plans on attending as many Crystal Cups as they can.
Yep.
As compared to last year, it was like, oh, I'll just attend the ones close to me and then wait for local qualifiers. Everyone wants to attend Crystal Cups, so sure, you can be like, people might have the argument like it may be like pay to qualify, which in a sense, sure, like you have to pay to go to the events, but you still have to perform well at those events to maintain the #1 rank on the leaderboard, right?
Yep, and real talk though, like if you're good enough and you practice enough, you could win it on your first one. You don't have to worry about traveling anymore. And you know, so I guess I got a little, I know there was that thread on the Facebook page about if you go, we started breaking down Scott Steiner math about, oh, if you have a 70% chance of going here, then you can do this and you can win because you have, whatever. So I sound like a tobacco auctioneer trying to talk about this stuff. It is a grind, but if you put the time in and perform, you can alleviate. You have the potential to alleviate the grind, if that makes sense.
Yeah, by going to a Crystal Cup, it's just freaking awesome whether you win or not.
Yep.
Yeah. That too. Like, you're just gonna have a good time regardless. But if you say you're going to the, I don't know, we'll say you're going to the SoCal Crystal Cup, and that's your first one. It's the first one of the season. We're talking hypotheticals here, and you win that one, or if you top 4 that one, you don't have to grind nearly as much anymore. Being able to go to these events is going to, going to as many as possible has the potential to prevent you from going to as many as possible, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still gonna try to attend all of them.
Oh, I am too.
Yeah,
I am too. I'm going to every single one that I can.
So I'm hoping I could go to all 6. That's my goal. I know I missed out on the Cali one and the Seattle one last year, but
yeah. Turns out that Uniboxes just doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's pretty rare. It's hard.
I have one.
Yeah, I need one. I need one.
But yeah, I mean, I guess, what are y'all's thoughts overall? I guess, like, for me, I guess I'll start, just to not sound like everybody's being negative or anything. Overall, I'm, like, hype for all of this stuff. The Crystal Cups are going to be amazing. We got 12 world seats. Like, that's awesome. It almost seems like wherever the country that's being held has the most seats. I don't know if that's, like, a correlation thing there. If that's going to rotate around, since, like, we're going to host it this year.
Probably makes travel cheaper on their end.
Yeah.
They're floating the dime.
I do think that, and I don't, because they try to put more into petite cups, and like that's like a way to qualify now. It just doesn't seem worth the grind to me. But I think RB's kind of already came out and said like they didn't want that to be worth the grind. So like, I feel like petite cups are gonna kind of be like, if you can go. If you can't, it's not a big deal. Save your like time off and money and go to Crystal Cups. And if you can make it to that finals and you happen to win, hopefully the pricing is really sweet, and you can save yourself from LQs and stuff if that ends up being the way you qualify. But I think like you're not meant to like grind out these petite cups. So
yeah, I guess I'll piggyback off of that because I agree with you. While I guess I'll preface all of that with this. We sound like we're complaining, but we're just super passionate about this game and this community. So when we hear about the competitive season, we want to have as many chances to just play as we want. So Crystal Cups are great, petite cups are fine if they're local, right? More LQs is fantastic.
Yes.
And I think one of the biggest problems is, me Adam, you and I were talking about this yesterday, and we kind of touched on it. We want to see a sweeping point system where there's more control on the local levels, like have pretty much the majority of the seat, very similar to Magic, right, where they have PPTQs all over the place. They have these low level events at just stores throughout the entire year. Those stores, if you win that, you get points and you can go here. If you get points, you can go here. Then you can go here. And you just kind of have that ladder that you can climb throughout the season. So if it rewards the grinder for going to all these events. And now you're, oh, cool, I've got enough, or just by playing in sanctioned events, like, oh, cool, I've got enough Planeswalker points. I get to go to Nationals this year. But I think, while that does sound like a great idea on paper, and it works for the most part, keeping those stats up in real time probably requires a lot more personnel than Square is willing to put on the books, or even wants to consider putting on the books, if that makes sense. But with that being said, I think what we got this season is two big steps in the right direction, but maybe a stumble going backwards. Because I think while the petite cups are cool, I think maybe the way they were the way the news was delivered to us might have put a sour taste in people's mouths. And that's kind of how I'm looking at it.
Well, I think I made a post about that, and I personally don't feel like it came off negative. Some people may have interpreted it otherwise. So I'll just reiterate basically what I said. So my opinion is, I think, for the most part, 80 to 90% of everything announced is great. Crystal Cups are amazing.
Yep.
We're all talking about it. We're super hyped to attend all of them if we can.
Mm-hmm.
More local qualifiers is great. Like, everything is awesome. The Petit Cups the Petit Cups is where me personally, I have like a love-hate relationship with, because like I'm the kind of person, I want to attend as many events as I can, and I want reasons to attend those events. And I also and the Petit Cups, personally for me, it's hard for me to justify going to Petit Cups that aren't local, which I guess might be the point of what they're trying to do. But like, from my perspective, wouldn't you want as many people to attend your events regardless of the level of event as possible? Yeah. So like, that's where it hurts me a little bit, is like, wouldn't you want to try to find like the even ground between like the casual player and the competitive player, and construct something that incentivizes both to attend a Petit Cup, as to where right now the Petit Cups heavily incentivize casuals, which is great, which is awesome. But I think it would be cool to incentivize the competitive players a little more. And I think what their original thought was like, okay, let's throw them a bone and like, okay, top 4 qualify for Petit Cup Championship, and the Petit Cup Championship winner qualifies for nationals. But like, that's like, when we're gonna have 100 local qualifiers, that's not really much incentive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure the pricing will be great. Like, I actually have zero worry in the pricing this year. I'm very positive that like, I'm sure we'll be taken care of.
Right. And I'm actually really glad you said that, because one of the words that keeps popping up when we're talking about this is the word competitive. Competitive. Look, the reason we have a competitive circuit is so people can play for the title of world champion. It's not for casual play. Weeklies, monthlies, locals, that's where you go to play casually or at your kitchen table. So if we're making competitive season announcements, shouldn't these events all have a pretty major stake in the competitive season? Like, I love playing basketball competitively, but I don't hear the fucking Bulls ringing my phone off the hook. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's a kind of a hang up there where it's, you know, it is competitive season, but they're still trying to please everybody. And I think there's a bit of a disconnect there, at least in my opinion.
I think for me personally, like, a few changes I think could be made to the Petit Cup structure, where like, why not just have top 8 of the Petit Cup championships qualify for nationals, right? That would mean people have an incentive to fly out, because then they can top 8 and then be done and be qualified. That'd be great, right? Making it first place makes it seem like, if it's just first place, what's different from that in a local qualifier? For someone like me, I can just go play a local qualifier and have the same like chance, right? So exactly. If you make the championships maybe top 8 qualify for nationals, that'd be great. Or even top 4. I would prefer top 8 because you have to qualify for it. So why not just make top 8? And then why not make the Petit Cup championship winner just auto qualify for nationals? I don't see an issue personally with having as many people qualify for nationals as possible.
Yeah, my thing was, I think I told Chris when they first announced this, was like, I would just nix the championship in general. I know they were doing that to try to like something extra, and that's great. Like, I want more events, but I would almost nix that and just have the winner of each Petit Cup go straight to Nats.
Sure. I mean, that seems good too.
I mean, the reunion itself, that's going to be the size of a Crystal Cup. So
I think the participation at that reunion and a Crystal Cup is very minor in terms of like differences, right? Like, if you were to like change the reunion to a Crystal Cup, you may add 10 more players. That's it.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's the same competition and level as a Crystal Cup, and on your guys' side.
Yep.
No, I agree with that for sure. And you know, I guess what we're all trying to say here is, while we do, there are some it's not perfect by any means. We all just want to get out there and play, and I think that's part of it. We want people to have as many chances as they possibly can to get to nationals, and then everybody be on the same playing field to have a chance to get to worlds. And I think the Petit Cup just kind of left people scratching their head, because I agree. I think the more LQs you can have throughout the season, the better. And those things should be starting as soon as possible. Like, I think LQs should be going on throughout the entire. Like, they should be starting, like, I don't know, after Worlds, when they make the announcements, like, oh, by the way, next month, February, the first week in February, that's when all those are starting. You know, like, make the competitive season an actual season, make it last.
Right.
And I think that's, you know, there's a little bit, almost like too much pomp and circumstance around it. Like, let's just have all these LQs, let people get to nationals, and let nationals be an actual like nationals. Let there be like 200, 300 players at this thing, and that's how you really get the best of the best, in my opinion. You know, you have a bigger sample size to choose from. Like a 80-person nationals doesn't really paint a full picture, because there's also people that can't make it. But if they have their LQs now and they qualify, you know, 9 months from now, they've saved up the PTO, they've saved up the money to fly out there. So now it's a no question. You know what I mean?
I think if they go that route, they and just announce the date of nationals. You don't need to know the date and the like general location. You don't need to actually announce the venue. But let's say they were to go the route of like, okay, local qualifiers start in January for nationals. If they were to go that route and they announce nationals will be September 1st, whatever, some random arbitrary date at Los Angeles, California, at the same basically at the same location that we have it every year, anyways. And then the local qualifiers start in January. That gives people almost like 9 months if they qualify. Like the earlier you qualify, you have that much more time to prepare going, right? Which is great. That means you can give people the most amount of time possible to go to nationals, depending on how they qualify. Instead of like, oh, we have a Crystal Cup in September, but our nationals is the beginning of October.
Right. I'm really glad you put it that way. I feel like that's still the biggest hurdle. Things are announced very late, or everything when they make the announcements is happening very soon. And I think just an improvement in scheduling would go a long way. And again, these are just super nitpicky things, because we all just want to play. We want to go to these events. We want to do well. And we're just passionate about it. So when we see something that maybe like, oh man, you know, maybe I've tried it like this, it's not a knock on the people making the decisions. It's that we just want to get out there and play. Put me in, coach. I want to get in there, and I want to try my best to get, to play on the world stage.
I do want to say though, while I hope people don't take the constructive criticism in a bad way, I think, like I said at the beginning, everything is great. Everything is like, even though the Petit Cups aren't how I personally feel I'd like them, they're still better than last year. Like, there's still a little bit more incentive than last year, right? And they basically announced that there's going to be Petit Cups leading up to April, which is essentially telling us April is when Crystal Cups should start. Like, at least we have something to do between now and April.
Yes, oh, thank God. Yes, absolutely. And that's a big point. I'm glad you said it that way, because I know up until they announced everything, we were like, well, I guess I'll see you guys in April. Now, what are your thoughts, Greg?
Oh, thank you for asking. I was like hyperventilating over here. I was like, I want to say. So I agree with you, Chris, so much, because like I'm the kind of person like remember when we started our LQs last season, earlier this year, and every single day somebody was holding a Miniphilia trophy in the US group. Yeah. So that was hype, because every single post got like maybe like 10 to 100 likes, depending on like if you knew the person or you knew that the person was like freaking not sleeping and grinding their butts off every single day to be able to play. Now, so like that, for me, like my personality, the kind of person I am, I'm just like, all systems go. I need to see it on the radio. I need it on the television. I need to be able to like see it on Facebook. I need it to be all the notifications on my phone. Like, I want this game to be like all over the place, And so when I read the news on the NA post, when RB shared it to the US group, and then it was on the NA page, and I read like the whole like structure so far for like the preview of what we're getting so far, I was like, oh my God, like 100 LQs, Petite Cup circuit, Crystal Cups, world qualifications, like it's going to be in the US. So I was like, even if I don't make it to Worlds, which sucks, that would suck, but like, that's fine. Like, even if I don't make it, it's like, it's going to be in the US or Canada. It's going to be in North America this year, the World Championship, right? So it's like, I get to hang out with like freaking Alex Hancock. I get to hang out with Mr. Cool, everybody traveling from all over the world, all the best of the best. I get to meet them, hopefully, and I get to watch them play. Like, that would be freaking sick. I would love to do that. So it's closer than like London, like if I had to like fly to Toronto or New York or Virginia or Florida, I could do that for like Worlds, even if I didn't make it, right? So So I'm just like the kind of person I am. I just like, I go to so many tournaments in California because we're blessed to have so many LGS and like Metapotion and like so much structure and so much community, so many people passionate about the game and passionate about each other that we're able to have events every day. So like I'll go to locals probably like 3 to 5 times a week, and that's just the kind of like that's what I like. I like being stimulated at that level. I love having that opportunity and just like being out there and going out there and having fun. I love that a lot of shops are on my way home from work. I love that I can go to shops on my days off and like stuff like that. And so the competitive season, like reading that made me so happy because I was just like 100 LQs. Like that means I could end up in Idaho this year. That means I could end up in like, Rhode Island or something, like just to be able to see all that and the Crystal Cups and the Petite Cups and all that. Because even though I probably won't go to Petite Cups in Kansas, like, because it's just too far and expensive for me, I would still love the opportunity to just like jam with people, you know what I mean? So I'm really looking forward to it. And I like that we brought up the Wales side events because I hope that we get to experience that as well, like those level of side events. Because if there's any way to keep like 200 people in the room for a week or for a day or two, like that would be the way. And I would love to see that. And I would love the community to not only just enjoy each other, but to also stay stimulated outside of the main constructed event,
Oh, absolutely. And your passion is infectious, Greg. And like that's what people want, right? So when we get these announcements, we are hype. We just want them to be streamlined and let as many people that want to play the game competitively get as much access as they can. You put everybody on the same playing field that wants to go down that grindy route. Like give people the opportunity to grind if they want to, for sure.
Yeah, worst case scenario, you get to like just like like best case scenario for me, like the competition is great, but like even like yesterday at the Metapotion Championships, like I just looked at it like I don't even care like what happens if I top, great. If not, I'm here in a room with all of my favorite people that have taught me how to play when I didn't even know like what to do, people that have gone out of their way for me, people that really really support the community and give everything they have, like their lives, to the game. And so like I'm just like surrounded by all these people, like family to me, and so I was just happy to be there. I didn't even care about the winning outcome, and it was just great. And that's basically going to be my attitude for the rest of the year, because now I also get not only get to do that with my SoCal locals, but I also get to do that with with like you, Chris, Adam, other people from all over all the regions that are just so supportive to the game and that I talk to on a daily basis. I think like that's my favorite thing, is just to be able to hang out with people like Matt too. Me and Matt, we always talk about just being able to hang out with people and where we're going to go, where we're traveling, and who we're going to meet up with and stuff like that. And so like both of us are really passionate about people. And Matt judged yesterday. He didn't even play. He's like a perfect example of that, you know what I mean? So shout out to Matt Okimoto.
Man, again, like I said, Greg, that passion's infectious, and I can't wait. I just can't wait for it to start. And I think that's part of it too. We're just like, we want to see. I mean, obviously the reunion, is our first crack. I mean, not mine. I'm going to be in the booth with the birthday boy himself, but the reunion is the first crack that people are going to get at the competitive side of things. And I think we're all just ready for it to happen. And we're all just kind of nitpicking, but I do think overall the announcements we got were fantastic, and all it's going to do is get better. Everything is going to improve every year. So the things we're complaining about now, because we talked about it last week, that they do listen. They listen to community feedback. So maybe next year, in lieu of Petite Cups, they'll have more LQs and have more of a grind season, if that makes sense. So you never know. You never know. And I'm fine with Petite Cups being treated like GPs for Magic. Just have this awesome event that people can go to, talk to artists, talk to fans, talk to this, do that, play in a bunch of side events, or play in the main event, whatever.
I do want to say though, Chris, that RB and FFTCG team themselves, they're super passionate about this game, and like they do read pretty much everything that is said, and they do really really care about the community. And if there is something that they don't have to agree with everything that we say, and sometimes we bring up something like, oh, that's a good idea, but if they feel it's the best for the game based off what the community has said, they'll do their best to make it reality as fast as possible.
Absolutely.
So like, even though like I made a post, whatever, there's maybe some good and bad about it, whatever. But they're gonna do their best to take the good of it and try to apply it in the best way possible for the game as fast as possible for the game. Does that make sense?
No, it absolutely does, and that's and that's good to hear, right? Because the game is still relatively young. It's still kind of in its infancy, for lack of a better way to put it. And they know what the community wants, and we're eventually going to get to that happy medium to where it's good for them. It makes sense to them business wise, and it makes sense for them to be able to sustain the game. And the people that play the game are going to be happy traveling around, having a good time, outside of the obvious friendships that you build. There we go. We're just sailing along on the friendship again. It's the theme of the episode, man.
Well, you got the best friends in the best friends in like North America all on the same podcast.
I don't disagree with that. So you're absolutely right. But with that being said, is there any other points we want to hit on the competitive season? Anything that we really like? Anything that we think they could improve upon? I know we were kind of more ranting than anything else, but again, that just goes back to us being passionate about what we want out of this game, what we want out of this community that we've thrown ourselves into. I guess we'll just kind of go around the table. Adam, I'll start with you. Anything you want to add?
No, other than the fact that I hope that one of those mystery spots is a point system. Even if it's just for Crystal Cups, I'd be fine with that. That's
fair. I guess we'll go to you, Oki.
I think I'm good. I think this was pretty informative. I hope everyone likes what they heard, or if they don't like, at least spark a discussion so we can, continue the conversation outside of it. I'm super excited for everything to start. I can't wait to see you guys again, and FanFest, baby, make it happen.
Yeah, boy.
Ooh.
And how about you, Greg?
I like Adam said, like personally, that would be great if we had a point system. Like, think about all the people that grinded so hard yesterday or this season that couldn't make it a Nats. Obviously, like I put myself into that equation. Like I said, it's just something that would be great. Otherwise, I love this game so much. I love the community so much. I'm gonna go ahead and just keep going, and just like just keep my mouth shut, keep my head down, just like keep going, other constructiveness would be just like I will take like more of everything that I read. I'll take like times 10 of all of that, because I'm totally cool for like there to be multiple events and for like just to get things like super cracking in North America. I'm all for it. I'm all for more events and more opportunity and more opportunities to play and grow the game. Like priority number one, grow the game, and I definitely see the growth, feel the growth, and I know that we're set for success. I know we are.
That's the best way to end a podcast. We are set for success. Damn, Greg, you should write a book.
No, I want to play cards more.
Love that. Well, the only thing I want the two mystery spots to be people that didn't qualify, but they show up wearing masks like the Black Scorpion.
Whoa,
that's
cool.
what I want.
What the hell?
Surely that's not Greg Cole under that mask.
Jesus.
Can I hire you for like entertainment and parties?
Promotional use. He's like the guy at the boxing rings that says, "Let's get ready to rumble" at every event.
We're available on February 9th if you want to fly us out to California.
Wow.
We'll be available to. I'll do a stand-up routine at the Fan Fest. It'll be great.
We need a petition. We need everyone to go comment on RV's post about like questions. A question needs to be: can we fly Chris Adams and Adam Lane out to the Fan Fest of next year and have them do a comedic show for
Well, I will stand and deliver for what the fans want. That's for sure. It'll be great. It'll be absolutely great. Well, hell, man, I can't think of a better way to end this podcast than on that. And we definitely filled our hour and then some. And I can't thank you guys enough for being on. It was an absolute great chat. You guys are doing the King's work out there in California. Just keeping the dream alive out there, keeping the competitive scene going. What more can I say? World-class players. and just world-class human beings. So, glad we finally got to have you on. We're about, 38 episodes late on that one?
37.
37, but you know who's counting.
I've listened to every single one, by the way.
Same.
And we appreciate that. We definitely appreciate it. We appreciate that more than you'll ever know.
I literally look forward every week for the podcast.
Yeah, especially Mondays.
Yeah, because if you don't know, California, getting to work is like an hour, and that's like on average sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And like having something to listen to, especially by people that you really enjoy, it's like the best.
Well, I don't even have words for that. We appreciate you listening, and we definitely appreciate you joining us today. And I guess with that, with those positive vibes, we're gonna go ahead and spirit bomb sign off.
Shout outs.
Oh, Greg, shout out. Dude, we do this every time. Shout outs, Greg. What you got? What you got, fool?
Shout outs to my team. Team Shuffle, baby. Woo! Yeah, we got third place yesterday, baby. Top it.
Yeah, I saw Greg with his slick jersey.
Yeah, look good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Shouts out to Kyle McGinty for the hookup on the jerseys. Holla at your boy.
Love that. Love that. Okay, any shout outs for you?
To my wife, because we're about to go get lunch.
Love that.
To the team, to the Metapotions team, everyone on there, to you guys for having us. I really appreciate it, and just to the community as a whole. I think this community is one of the best communities I've ever been a part of, and it's really awesome. I don't know what to say.
Well, awesome, man. We definitely appreciate you taking the time today and being on with us. Can't wait to hang out in person again. It's always a good time. Maybe next time. I guess we have to swear like a blood oath right now. Next time we travel and we're in the same place, let's make sure it's not like Gen Con where we were literally 5 minutes from each other and didn't know it till the last night.
Yes, please.
Okay, so I was gonna say, when we all hang out, obviously, either Matt or I, hopefully we'll make like a group chat or something.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get like a legit itinerary, like depending on who knows like the area better, of us all like having plans and doing things? Yes. Because I want to maximize, like min-max our opportunity together, because I've seen you guys maybe like 3 or 4 times this year, and that wasn't enough for me, if that makes sense.
I agree with that.
100% makes.
Nats was hard, man. It was like being pulled in like 80 directions.
Yeah. That's really hard. So we need to like find a way that we can, all of us, every single person like listening to this podcast, that we can all get together and we just itinerary. We're meeting up here. We're doing this, and everybody just meets up, and we're just like, soldier up and head out and everywhere we go. Because I really love hanging out with you guys. Like that's my life for me. That's the life I want to live.
Absolutely, no, 100%. And I know. So that I've already made the commitment. First thing I'm doing next time we're all hanging out together, I promised. The first thing I said is I'm going to have beers with Jordan Dank and JG Fitness.
Whoa!
Oh.
Shouts out!
JG Fitness.
That's right. Hashtag JG Fitness. I need to have beers with them. I wanted to have beers with them at Nats, but every time it was like, all right, cool, I'll be back. Don't go anywhere. I would get dragged off somewhere, and it would be hours before I was able to.
You were Mr. Popular that weekend.
Dude, it was tough, man. It was tough hanging out with everybody, and I just love people, and I love hanging out with people. It wasn't even about the cards, man. It was just about shooting the shit, having drinks, just having good times, man.
That sounds like an FFTCG fan fest to me.
That's what I heard.
That's
So hold on,
man,
no.
You guys are good.
Get behind this. Tell me something. Get behind this. A Square Enix Final Fantasy themed bar at the Final Fantasy TCG Fan Fest. How crazy and beautiful would that be? You have like Mughals serving you. Oh my.
Whoa, hold on. What kind of Mughals?
There's only one kind. What are you talking about?
That you know of.
Hurdy-gurdy, Artemisian. Who else?
Sorbet. Don't forget about my man
Sorbet. Yeah, get Sarah out there just throwing Mughals at people like, here, boom, you're done.
We need the dad of Florida to be our bartending Mughal for us that weekend.
Yes. Good.
Come on, RB, do it, RB, come on.
Well, cool, man. We'll go ahead and sign off on that. Just everybody, thanks for listening. It was a great time.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a great podcast. Thank you. Thank you. It was a massive honor to be here. Thank you. I'm so grateful.
Thank you very much. It's a blast. Everyone should listen to it every week.
Yes.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening once again to the RVA Returners podcast. If you like this content and you want to hear more, check us out on YouTube at RVA Returners, and make sure you follow us on SoundCloud and check us out on Google Play and iTunes.